Okay, second part of this video shows you a few things. First, we need to dynamically direct parts into each one of the inspection station based on their load. Second, we need to set up the proper failure rate on these two branches and also over here as well. Um, and also we need to set it up for this pallet coming only when there is needed for a pallet, not continuous generating. So these are the three for this particular short clip. Let's do that first. The first thing first, let's determine this transfer node 1. Originally it shows is using the shortest path first, and I have here pretty much 2 minutes for each shortest path, so it's giving a equal opportunity. But we need to figure it out. So on these three inspection, which one is going to be more have a lighter load, and therefore we can lighter load, then we can forward parts to the more empty or less low inspection station. What do we need to do is on this node we need to choose entity destination, and first we need to create a list. Okay, and this list we'll call the list of inspector, and increasing a node list. Okay, and the node list is, we call that node list as of inspection, and the first one is the input of inspection 1, 2, and 3. So these are the possible outcome for going to each one of the inspection station. Back here on this node, instead of saying follow link rule on outbound link reference, I'm going to choose select from the list. Okay, so entity destination, select from the list, and I'm going to call that list. Okay, I'm going to using a value, and this values depends on how much entity already going through or is going through this three workstation. So we're going to using the smallest value first, who has the least amount of entity in their station. So this part I'm going to try to determine. The first one is number of waiting in the input buffer. So we're going to do a candidate, because since we're using candidate, meaning we don't know which one it is. It's just one of the candidate on the list. And their server portion, and there is a candidate server and their input buffer, and content number of waiting. So first I want to check how many in the input buffer waiting, which is in the queue, and plus candidate server, and how many are waiting in they are being processed, how many are in the process. So candidate server processing content and number waiting. And also I want to see how many are en route to this each one of those. So you have some parts maybe en route into the station already, so I want to have those be accounted for as well. And that part is a little bit tricky, and let's do that. Candidate no, which is I'm put in the input node. I want to specify a node, and which is a number in row. No. And routing it, meaning candidate is node for that node, and number of travelers on this node, and routing in to this node. So we're going to check if this is so based on the information all three on the list, and we're going to determine how that's going to be going. So that's that. And also, for each one of the inspection station, I need to seize an inspector operator in order to perform the work. Okay, each one of those we need to seize an operator, and we have 3 operators. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the process, create a few processor, basically. First, I'm going to choose define a state variable called number waiting. In that case, go to state variable for model. I'm going to just an integer. I'll call that state variable number waiting. Okay. And then in this process, for increase waiting, I'm going to rename this one. Increase number waiting. Okay, simply add a sign and then say state variable number waiting equals to state variable number waiting plus 1. Okay, and then I'm going to have this process called seize operator. And basically all I need is trying to seize the operator. And seize the operator, specific one, inspector, and I need one of them, and that's it. Close it down. And also, once we grab an operator, we need to decrease that by 1. Instead of add to 1, I'm going to change to decrease by 1. Okay. So here we call the increase number of waiting. And here I'm going to call that decrease number waiting. And this one, seize inspector. And then we're going to, and this one I'm going to call that release operator, for example. And this one I'm going to call that seize operator. Okay, release operator, fairly simple, just release operator. And release inspector. That's all there's to it. Okay. Um, each one of them, when they started, we want to grab this inspector, and also after they are done, I want to release the operator as well. All right, so in each one of the workstation, before they coming into the station upon their arrival, and here I'm trying to when they exit this, I'm trying to increase the number of operator, and also within every one of those process, sorry, for each one of the input no right here, I need to put it on a process right here. Right after they leave, I'm going to run, say, increase number of operators right here, increase number waiting, and during each one of those process, after they start getting processed, I'm going to, before processing, I'm going to grab operator. Okay. So, but after they've been processed, I cannot release the inspector, and I have to wait until either they go into send it to the palletizing process, or send it to the trash can, or even finish the repair work. Okay, so each one of the inspector not only do the inspection, they need to do the rework and then send them back, or they're going to send them to the palletizing process. So for this part, once they arrive to the palletizing, the job of the inspector is done. So I'm going to say release operator. Okay. And also when they arrives to the sink as well, this part, upon their enter, I can release the operator. And also after they done with the repair work, I can release the operator. Okay, so these are the parts, and actually how many of how we handle the resource. The next things we were dealing with is how to determine the arrivals of the pallet arrival. And originally these pallet arrival, what we have is they're generating, actually this is generating pallet. Originally, most of the time we're using inter-arrival time as arrival mode. Here what I'm trying to say is based on event. So I'm going to only generate arrival when certain event happening. And what I'm trying to do is see any pallets exit from this palletizer, then I give a new pallet. So this is pretty straightforward. And so we can have output on the combine exit. So each time the output combine palletizer has one entity exit from here, and then I bring in a new pallet. Okay, and that's pretty much the situation. And the last things we want to deal with is the failure rate on these branches. So first we need to determine the link weight, for example, on this link. Let's basically follow the par table. Failure probability. Okay. For each one of the part type. And also this part is the successful rate instead of pallet rate. And what I'm going to do is 1 minus that number. And choose this now as using, instead of using shortest path, I'm going to using link weight. I think which pretty much. Okay, now let's run this simulation, see if it works. We notice the part coming through the east based on balance of load, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and they all come into the palletizer to weigh. And this purple palletizer initially generate 1 at the beginning of simulation, and wait until the same color has accumulated 6 of them. You see the next red, whatever color, coming to 6. So I have 5 right now, 6. So the green went off, and the red still waiting. Okay, so this is the palletizing process. Quickly, what we do is we adding a few things, and based on that, we want to see how many got utilized over here. How many got utilized? So capacity utilized for that, basically using red color, trying to show how many are utilized. And also want to see how many are passing through this process. Okay, passing through this process. And so based on that, I'm going to grab another one over here to show how many processing, and see how many exit. Okay. I want to see how many of actually got shipped over here. Okay, run this again. Make it a little bit faster. You see all the numbers are running. How many of the inspector are busy at this point, and how many pallet got shipped. So this pretty much concludes this clip. So I'm going to stop. I know I have left a few details for you to figure it out based on the homework. So don't take this as a full solution for the homework. It's just a major part of it.